Court blocks PDP convention, orders Sule Lamido's inclusion. Stakeholders push for holistic diabetes care. Bauchi Assembly shut down by strike over financial autonomy. And away from Nigeria, Tanzania's president orders probe into election violence. A warm welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Neeman Abagudu. And now the Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday ordered the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to suspend its national convention originally scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State. Justice Peter Lifu, ruling on a suit filed by former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, also restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from supervising, monitoring or recognizing any PDP convention that excluded Lamido as a contestant. The court found that Lamido had been unjustly denied the opportunity to obtain a nomination form to contest for the position of national chairman in breach of the PDP constitution and internal regulations. And Justice Lifu directed that the convention be put on hold to allow Lamido to secure the nomination form, rally supporters and carry out his campaign, affirming the party's duty to provide fair opportunities for its members to pursue leadership positions. Now, meanwhile, the Adamawa State Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri said the People's Democratic Party PDP convention will hold in Ibadan as planned on November 15 to 16, 2025. The governor, who is the chairman of the convention planning committee, confirmed the party is proceeding with preparations amid some internal disputes. The convention is set to be attended by delegates from all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, expected to supervise the election of new party officers. The decision follows a court ruling that cleared the way for the convention, rejecting claims by the faction that sought to stop it based on a federal high court order. He said the PDP leadership, including governors, the National Working Committee and the Board of Trustees, remain united on holding the convention in Ibadan, emphasizing adherence to the Supreme Court authority on judicial matters to resolve any conflicts.
Critical stakeholders meeting where a lot of elaborate decisions were taken. And I want to tell you here that we are going to Ibadan to go for our convention, and the convention is sacrosanct.
Now, as the world marks the 2025 World Diabetes Day, stakeholders are calling for more support for people living with diabetes. This year's theme, Diabetes and Well-being, draws global attention to the need for holistic care, focusing not just on blood sugar control, but also on supporting the physical, emotional, and social well-being of those affected. The report.
World Diabetes Day 2025 is putting a major focus on the often overlooked connection between diabetes and well-being. Observed annually on November 14th, the campaign under the International Diabetes Federation is urging employers, employees, and policymakers to know more and do more for diabetes at work.
To improve shared decision-making, we can start by asking about the patient's daily life, income, and goals. We can offer realistic, affordable options and agree on small, achievable steps. It is best to use visual and local food examples and not complex charts. It is important to know that treatment should fix the patient's reality, not a textbook. But there are socioeconomic barriers beyond drug cost. This include transport issues, food insecurity, job instability, and weak insurance coverage. Most Nigerians pay out of pocket, making continuity difficult. To fix this, we can expand the NHIS scheme coverage for chronic care, flexible clinic hours, and food transport and support. We can involve family members by assigning them as helpers and not supervisors. They can help by reminding doses and recognizing low blood sugar. But then again, the drugs we use are very expensive in Nigeria. Simple metformin that we use can range from 3,000 to 7,000. Insulin can range from 18,000 to 21,000. And other drugs can range from 30,000 up to 80,000 naira. So basic diabetes care coverage can exceed an average monthly income. To improve diabetes care in Nigeria, we must make education continuous, affordable, and culturally relevant.
The International Diabetes Federation reports that a significant percentage of individuals with diabetes experience anxiety, depression, or even diabetes burnout due to the constant burden of self-management. These health experts say a lack of understanding or supportive policies exacerbate these.
Diabetic stress will go on as a lot of psychological feeling of the patients, the worries when you're diagnosed that you're already diabetic. So that feelings, how can I buy this drug? The other one is thinking about his drugs.
For persons with diabetes, managing the disease requires consistent collaboration between the patient and a multidisciplinary healthcare team.
And that's where there is a need for teamwork in the hospital system. If there is a diabetic stress, in some cases, because of the range in the mind, a psychologist, clinical psychologist is supposed to be invited so that he will correct the impression of that particular patient.
What I observe and is all about is a control of what you eat. That is your diet. If you can monitor what you eat, you follow the medical advice given by experts, dietitian, endocrinologists, and the rest of them.
As the world marks today, the message is clear: to create supportive work environment and raise awareness of the challenges people with diabetes face. Tanti Azal, Trust TV, Abuja.
Now, Nigeria and Mali have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and tackling regional security challenges. The development followed a courtesy visit by Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, to Mali's Prime Minister, General Abdullahi Mega, during the maiden International Defense and Security Exhibition, BAMEX 2025, in Bamako. Now, speaking to journalists, Badaru described the Malian reception as warm and exceptional and conveyed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's greetings to the Malian government and people. He emphasized Nigeria's readiness to deepen defense collaboration with Mali to address shared security threats. Now, Prime Minister Mega welcomed Nigeria's participation, calling it a testament to our enduring friendship and mutual respect. He praised BAMEX 2025 as a key platform for exchanging defense ideas and innovations to strengthen Africa's security frameworks. Now, top military and security officials from both nations, including Nigeria's Director General of the National Intelligence Agency and the Director of Operations at Defense Headquarters, attended the meeting, reinforcing a mutual commitment to regional stability. Now, troops of the Nigerian Army Forces have intensified operations across the country, killing terrorists, rescuing 6 to 7 kidnapped victims, and arresting 9 to 4 criminal suspects within a 2-week period. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Olatokunbo Bello, disclosed the update on Friday in Abuja, covering military operations conducted between November 13 and 14. He said troops recovered large quantities of arms and ammunition, including automatic rifles, machine guns, RPG tubes, locally fabricated weapons, and IED-making materials, while destroying criminal camps and logistic bays. In the northeast, Operation Hadinkai forces sustained offensive actions in Borno and Adamawa states, killing several Boko Haram Boko-Haram and ISWAP fighters, apprehending 4 to 5 informants, collaborators and logistics suppliers, and rescuing 1 kidnapped victim. Troops of Operation Fage Yamma in northwest killed several terrorists across Sokoto, Zamfara, Niger, Katsina, Kebbi and Kano states, arrested 2 suspects, rescued 13 kidnapped victims, and recovered weapons, vehicles and livestock. In the North Central Operation Enduring Peace, forces responded to multiple attacks in Plateau and Kaduna states, killing extremists, arresting 16 suspects, and rescuing 5 kidnapped victims. The notorious criminal Ibrahim Wakili was arrested in Sanga local government area of Kaduna State on November 9. In the Niger Delta Operation Delta Save fueled oil theft worth over 15.8 million naira destroyed illegal refining sites and arrested 9 suspected oil thieves in Bayelsa and Delta states. And now moving on, indigents of several communities in Ihalia local government area of Anambra State who had fled their homes due to the activities of insurgents posing as freedom fighters are beginning to return. For nearly 5 years, some communities were under the control of insurgents who imposed fines on residents before allowing marriages or burial ceremonies to take place. Recent operations by the Nigerian Army in collaboration with other security agencies successfully routed the insurgents, including their captured commander Ifeanyi Okorienta, also known as Gentle the Yao, leading to the liberation of most captured areas. Returning residents have expressed their gratitude to the Nigerian Army for restoring peace and security. In a letter conveyed through the office of the chairman of Ohanieze Indigbo, Ihalia local government area, and the President General of Umbosi town, Azuka Innocent Okoli, the people thanked the commander of 302 Artillery Regiment, Onitsha, Colonel B.M. Yakubu, for the Army's dedication, courage, and sacrifice. Now, despite decades of democratic governance, many communities in Katsina State, northwest Nigeria, are struggling to survive not only from years of banditry, but also from the total absence of basic necessities of life. Ruwan Gamji village in Dutsima local government area stands out among numerous settlements battling without schools, healthcare, access roads and water facilities for decades. The village hosts an estimated population of more than 5,000 people, a population in need of emotional and spiritual healing, as well as economic recovery after long years of insecurity. Now, Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi visited the resilient residents and now reports.
It was a bright yet slightly hazy afternoon when Trust TV News arrived in this forgotten community on the southern outskirts of Duzimwa town. Men and children gathered at the village center, settling into their routines after the early morning hours. The untarred road beginning from Isa Keita College of Education links Duzimwa with dozens of farming communities, including Gagu, Takazaba, and Ruangamji, before terminating at the popular Zobe Dam. Wet season and irrigation farmers endure unimaginable difficulties transporting their produce to market amid deepening losses due to the poor access roads. Though the distance from Duzimwa to Ruangamji is just about 10 kilometers, the road becomes nearly impassable, especially during the rainy season. Traveling on our bad road is a uniquely dramatic experience. Thank God you have witnessed it yourself. This community has been left behind in terms of basic necessities. We have nothing, no school, no health facility, no water. In fact, the experience here is bitter. At the very least, If we can get a better road, a school for the many out-of-school children, a health facility and water, we would be better off. But none of these amenities exist here. What can a poor man do? It takes hard work and courage to live here. Villagers lament the absence of schools, healthcare centers, water facilities, and even a polling unit. Challenges, they say, have persisted for decades despite their active participation in politics and the presence of dozens of school-age children. They express frustration over years of neglect by both local and state authorities. According to them, several appeals have been made in the past, but government response has remained absent, leaving residents questioning the value of their continued participation in elections, which many now describe as irrelevant. They insist their children have a constitutional right to education. Children from Ruangamji trek nearly 3 kilometers daily to attend primary school in Takasaba. Yet, that school itself suffers from inadequate teachers, learning materials, and a poor learning environment. Years of insecurity have made us poor and exhausted. We only thank God that we are close to Zobedam. We engage in year-round farming, even without government support. If we can at least get subsidized farm inputs, things could improve for us. Residents say they are exhausted, physically and emotionally, from years of banditry, draining their strengths as they struggle to survive. While hoping the fragile peace currently being enjoyed will hold long enough for them to rebuild their lives, they are calling for a decentralization of government projects to ensure equitable distribution, rather than concentrating development in cities and major towns.
Now, moving on to more stories, the Lagos residents have reacted to the federal government's move to secure the transfer of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu from a United Kingdom prison to Nigeria. The former senator, alongside his wife and Dr. Obinna Obeta, was convicted by the UK Central Criminal Court for conspiring to exploit a man for his kidney. The report. Former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who was on May 5, 2023 sentenced to 9 years imprisonment by a United Kingdom court over an organ harvesting offense, may soon be transferred to Nigeria to serve the remainder of his sentence. This is because on Tuesday, November 11, 2025, the federal government announced that it was exploring the possibility of securing Ekweremadu's transfer from the United Kingdom to Nigeria under existing prisoner exchange agreements. When Trust TV's news crew spoke with some Lagos residents, opinions were divided. While some believe Ekweremadu should serve his full term in the UK, others think he should be brought back to Nigeria to complete his sentence.
My own take is that Ekweremadu commit the offense in UK. He's not commit the offense in Nigeria. I don't see reason why Nigeria federal government should bring him to this place, because the trust on Nigeria on that case, if they bring it to this place, they may release him, because it's a who is in Nigeria, and a small middleman or poor man have to have his own say. So let Nigeria federal government don't waste their own money on Ekweremadu. Let Ekweremadu serve him in where he commit the offense. I don't see reason why they should bring him back to Nigeria. What I suggest that as government, the federal government has talked that they will bring Ekweremadu come back to this country, it's good to become and serve in his own father's land. As serve in London is not good enough for Nigeria, that they are all the white people, they are not believers that we are not sincerely in this country, and then we need to support our federal government that is going to be all the eyes on Ekweremadu now.
But what me I'm looking at If they are transferring Ekuremadu to Nigeria, it's a welcome development. But in other way around, our courts in Nigeria, our judges are not that sincere. But nevertheless, I'm a Christian. When one commits sin, other way around, or make a mistake, the Bible says you should forgive him. If he comes in Nigeria and he has a burden of forgiveness, they can forgive him, no problem.
Whenever the parent committed offense, it's the right place to serve the term of prison or whatever penalty they give him. What I see in this case is that is to stay there at the United States or wherever he committed offense and continue serving of prison. He should not transfer to Nigeria because this case is even a murder case. It's not a matter of giving a sentence.
They urged the federal government to ensure that if transferred, Ike Ikweremadu serves his full sentence in Nigeria as determined by the UK court. They also cautioned against any premature release, noting that the case should serve as a deterrent to others in positions of authority. And now to Bauchi State, where legislative business in the state of Assembly came to a halt on Friday as parliamentary workers joined a nationwide strike organized by the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN. The industrial action is aimed at compelling the federal government to fully implement the Financial Autonomy Act, a key measure to strengthen the independence of state legislatures and deepen democratic governance. PASAN chairman in Bauchi State, Adamu Yusuf, said members participated in the strike following directives from the union's national leadership. He explained that the strike was a last resort after negotiations and dialogue with relevant government agencies failed to yield results. Yusuf commended Governor Bala Mohammed for his commitment towards ensuring financial autonomy for the state legislature, stressing that the strike is a collective effort by state chapters to intensify pressure for long-awaited reforms. PASAN represents workers in Nigeria's legislative arms, including the staff of the state houses of assembly and the National Assembly. The union frequently undertakes industrial actions to press for better conditions of service, payment of outstanding allowances, implementation of the Consolidated Legislative Salary Structure, CONLES, establishment of legislative service commissions, and full financial and administrative autonomy for state legislatures. In recent years, PASAN-led strikes have periodically shut down state assemblies nationwide, reflecting the union's push to enforce constitutional provisions on legislative autonomy and improve welfare for parliamentary staff. Now, 18 more victims of the October 21 tanker explosion in Esa Village, Kacha local government area of Niger State have died in hospitals in Abuja and Ilorin, bringing the total death toll to 46. On the day of the incident, 24 people were buried near the scene, while 4 others who died at the Federal Medical Center in Bida were laid to rest the following day. 17 victims were transferred to Abuja for advanced medical treatment, where 15 have since died, while 8 were moved to Ilorin with 3 confirmed dead. Residents say reconstruction of the road promised by Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has not begun, and 8 other fuel-laden tankers have since fallen on the same axis, raising fears of another disaster. They also say compensation promised by the state government has yet to be fully delivered. Of the 42 million naira pledged to victims and communities, only 17 million naira has reportedly been received. And now in business, the naira recorded its first appreciation this week against the US dollar at the official foreign exchange market on Thursday. According to central bank data, the naira strengthened to 1,441.44 naira to the dollar, up from 1,443.08 naira on Wednesday, a gain of 1.64 naira. At the black market, however, the naira traded flat at 1,465 naira to the dollar, the same rate as the previous day. Except for Thursday's slight rebound, the currency had trended downward all week with its steepest drop recorded on Wednesday. Now, meanwhile, Nigeria's foreign reserves continued their upward climb, rising to $43.42 billion as of November 12, up from $43.39 billion the day before. Moving on away from Nigeria, Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan announced on Friday that a commission of inquiry is being established to investigate the killings that occurred during the recent elections that returned her to power. And speaking to Parliament, Hassan also instructed police and security forces to exercise leniency towards young protesters who followed the crowd, following the arrest of hundreds charged with treason, a crime that carries the death penalty. Now, President Hassan secured a second term with 98% of the vote in the October 29 election, according to the Electoral Commission. However, allegations of electoral rigging and government repressition triggered days of violent protest, during which hundreds were reportedly killed by security forces amid a complete internet blackout, according to opposition groups and human rights organizations. With that, we've come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do well to follow us on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news. Join us at 9 p.m. on News Hour for more news. I am Mima Nabagodo. Thanks for watching.